Have you ever opened your property tax notice and just sat there quietly, staring at it, wondering how you're supposed to survive another year like this? That moment doesn't feel like stress. It feels like a slow, heavy cloud settling inside your home. You try to manage. You cut expenses. You hold on to every dollar. You give up small comforts just to keep the home you spent years working for. Yet the taxes rise anyway. Cold, unbothered, completely disconnected from the reality of the people paying them. In states like California, New York, New Jersey, and Illinois, millions live with a quiet fear they rarely speak about. The fear that one more tax increase might push them out of the house they've poured their life into. Many seniors say each time they see that envelope arrive, they have to pause and breathe, because if the numbers jump again, even by a few $100s, they're not sure how much longer they can hold on. So it's no surprise that millions are now turning toward these 10 U.S. states with extremely low or near zero property tax burdens. But here's the part people rarely talk about. They're not moving for adventure. They're moving because they're tired of a fight they feel they can't win anymore. And now the real question stands: are these 10 states truly a path out? Or is there something deeper behind this wave of relocation? Let's begin. Number 1. Alaska. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to live in a place where your government finally stops squeezing you? A place where your home doesn't feel like a ticking alarm every time tax season comes around. That's what people quietly discover in Alaska. Yes, Alaska, a state so far from the chaos of California and New York that it feels like stepping out of a storm into clean, quiet air. When you review the numbers, Alaska isn't just another cold state on the map. It's one of the last places in the U.S. where seniors can realistically imagine staying in their homes without sacrificing everything else. While big coastal cities raise property taxes by 6%, 10%, even 12% a year, Alaska offers something almost unheard of now: no property tax on primary homes for seniors aged 65 and older, and disabled veterans. In many local areas, homeowners receive exemptions worth $150,000 to $250,000, enough to erase most or all of their tax bill. For someone living on Social Security or a modest pension, that isn't a perk, that is survival. And that's why so many older Americans are beginning to talk about Alaska in quieter conversations, not as a wild escape, but as a real option from the financial pressure they're drowning in. Down in the lower 48, costs keep climbing: home prices, insurance rates, utilities, groceries, and the property tax is the knife that keeps twisting. But when people imagine Alaska, something in them loosens. Their voice softens. Their shoulders drop. Because for once, there's a maybe. Living in Alaska isn't the impossible adventure people imagine. Yes, winters are harsh, brutally so. But the trade-offs are meaningful, and for many seniors, transformative. Outside major cities, the cost of living is manageable. Groceries can be higher in remote areas, but housing is shockingly reasonable. The median home price statewide sits near $370,000, but in quiet communities, $220,000 to $280,000, homes are still common. Compare that to California, where the median is over $750,000, or to New York City, where a simple house can reach $900,000 suddenly. The cold doesn't feel like the biggest obstacle. Healthcare is another overlooked strength. Alaska has some of the strongest senior support healthcare programs: rural medical services, elder assistance, and long-term care programs. And of course, there's the permanent fund dividend, the PFD yearly payments given simply for living in the state. For a retiree, those few $100 or $1,000 can be the difference between scraping by and finally breathing. But Alaska's biggest gift is something you can't measure: space, silence. The feeling that life isn't pushing against you every single day, that you're not being punished for aging, that you're not one tax bill away from losing everything. For many people, retirement doesn't look like the dream they imagined. It's bills, rising costs, fear, and hoping nothing breaks. But in Alaska, many seniors say they rediscovered something they thought was gone forever: dignity. A chance to age peacefully. A home they can keep. A life that feels like theirs again. So the real question isn't why Alaska. It's this: if other states continue pushing homeowners to their limit, is Alaska the last place where the American retirement dream still lives? Number 2. Florida. In recent years, a familiar scene has played out across major U.S. cities: an older adult sitting at the kitchen table, opening their property tax letter, pausing with dread. Not because they mismanage money, but because they know that envelope might contain another increase, one they simply can't afford. In states like California, New York, and New Jersey, working families and retirees are being pushed back little by little. Not by luxury living, but by numbers printed in black and white. Homes that once represented a lifetime of sacrifice now feel like burdens they can barely carry. And in the middle of all this pressure, Florida begins to look like a warm light breaking through a dark hallway. Not dramatic, not loud, but steady enough to make people rethink everything. Because while many states raised taxes to offset budget gaps, Florida took the opposite route. Instead of tightening, it loosened. Instead of squeezing homeowners, it protected them. People leaving high-tax states for Florida aren't running, they're trying to survive. And what shocks them is how Florida treats homeowners with fairness instead of pressure. The homestead exemption removes $50,000 from a home's taxable value instantly. But the true miracle, the reason retirees and middle-class families keep arriving, is the Save Our Homes cap, preventing property taxes from rising more than 3% annually. In a world where home values can jump 30% to 40% in a few years, that 3% cap isn't just a rule, it's a lifeline. In communities like Ocala, Kissimmee, Deltona, and Port Charlotte, home prices are still within reach, $230,000 to $320,000. Not perfect, but possible. And when taxes aren't exploding every year, retirees can finally stop living in fear. Florida's cost of living is lower than most coastal states, and surprisingly, its healthcare system is one of the strongest for seniors. Clinics, hospitals, Medicare centers, cardiology, therapy. Florida is built around people over 55. Some people even joke that in Florida, clinics are as common as grocery stores. And that kind of medical stability brings a quiet comfort that older adults don't always talk about openly. But the deepest reason people choose Florida isn't numbers, it's hope. Hope that retirement doesn't have to be a struggle. Hope that life can still be lived on their own terms, not dictated by a tax bill. And in a country where millions feel retirement slipping away, Florida offers a rare message. You still have a chance. You just need to go where the system won't crush you. If you've made it this far and feel the information truly helps you, tap like and subscribe so you never miss important updates designed for people like you. Number 3. Hawaii. For decades, Hawaii has existed in the imagination of retirees as a dream, a place to visit once, maybe twice, but never somewhere normal people could actually afford to live. But something unexpected has shifted. At a time when property taxes on the mainland are breaking seniors financially, Hawaii, the state most people assume is unattainable, has quietly become one of the most protective states for older homeowners. That's because Hawaii offers some of the biggest tax exemptions in the country. In counties like Honolulu and Maui, seniors can receive $100,000 to over $300,000 in property tax exemptions. In some cases, the exemption is so significant that a retiree's yearly tax bill looks almost ceremonial, a few $100s, instead of thousands. And that changes the whole picture. Take away the heavy tax burden, and the Hawaii that remains is a place built beautifully for aging. The pace is gentler, the community stronger, greetings warmer, and life slower in the best ways. For someone who spent their entire life fighting rising costs on the mainland, Hawaii feels like stepping into a softer version of life. Yes, housing can be expensive, especially near tourist zones. But outside those areas, many retirees are finding condos between $250,000 and $380,000. Far more attainable once property taxes are slashed by exemptions. Healthcare in Hawaii is among the strongest in the nation, with high life expectancy and systems built around preventive care. For retirees, that means stability, something many thought they'd never get again. But perhaps what draws retirees most is the feeling. Hawaii gives them mornings that begin with peace instead of stress, evenings without fear of financial collapse, and the quiet realization that life can still be beautiful, even in later years. Number 4. Alabama. Ever wonder why a state so overlooked, so quiet, so ordinary is suddenly becoming a top retirement destination? That's Alabama, a state people once passed through without thinking, now becoming a lifeline for seniors desperate for a place they can actually afford to grow old. Alabama's secret isn't flashy. It doesn't have Hawaii's ocean or Florida's beaches. What it has is something America rarely offers anymore: property taxes. So low they almost seem unreal, especially for seniors living on Social Security. With an average tax rate of about 0.37%, one of the lowest in the country, Alabama gives retirees something they've lost for years: breathing room. And at age 65, many qualify for complete exemptions from state property taxes, reducing annual bills to a fraction of what they paid in states like New York or California. Combine that with incredibly affordable home prices, $160,000 to $240,000. In many towns, and suddenly retirement doesn't feel like warfare. Cities like Huntsville, Mobile, and Montgomery offer safe communities, growing medical systems, and costs that don't crush seniors. Healthcare is solid and continually improving. Alabama isn't perfect. Summers are hot. Some areas are rural. Services vary, and tornado risks exist. But Alabama isn't selling a dream. It's offering something far more reliable: affordability, predictability, and dignity. 3 things older Americans have been losing for decades. Number 5. Wyoming. For most people, Wyoming wasn't even a consideration for retirement, not as a place to settle, not as a financial strategy, but as costs explode across America. Wyoming is becoming the unexpected alternative. Quiet, spacious, grounded, and surprisingly friendly to older adults. What draws retirees first isn't the mountains, it's the math. No state income tax. Some of the lowest property taxes in the country. Relief programs specifically for seniors, with an average tax rate around 0.55%. Many retirees pay less per year here than they paid per month in California or Illinois. Some counties even offer rebate programs that further reduce costs for low-income seniors. That isn't a perk, that's a lifeline for Social Security-dependent retirees. Housing is shockingly reasonable in many areas, $180,000 to $260,000 for clean, quiet homes. Costs of groceries, utilities, and insurance remain manageable. Healthcare is stronger than many expect, especially in cities like Cheyenne and Casper. Of course, winters are harsh. Some towns feel isolated. Entertainment is limited. But for those looking for peace, affordability, and a return to simpler living, Wyoming offers something unexpectedly powerful, a life that feels like the America they remember. Number 6. Nevada. Most people hear Nevada and picture casinos, lights, and Las Vegas chaos. But beyond the Strip is an entirely different state: calm neighborhoods, stable tax laws, and a financial system that quietly protects homeowners, especially seniors. Nevada has no state income tax and one of the strictest caps on property tax increases. While other states allow assessment hikes of 10 to 20% in a single year, Nevada limits increases on primary homes to just 3%. That cap has saved thousands of retirees from being pushed out of their homes during market surges. Property taxes remain moderate at around 0.6%. And because Nevada relies heavily on tourism revenue, residents are not burdened with skyrocketing tax demands. Outside Las Vegas and Reno, home prices are still manageable, $280,000 to $350,000 for reliable, comfortable homes. Cities like Henderson, Pahrump, and Mesquite have become retirement magnets due to affordability and healthcare access. The medical infrastructure has expanded rapidly. Nevada isn't perfect. Summers are scorching, drought concerns are real, and some areas require long drives. But for retirees wanting predictable taxes and a break from financial pressure, Nevada delivers exactly that. Number 7. Mississippi. If you've ever wondered whether a place still exists in America where Social Security, a basic pension, and simple living are enough to survive, Mississippi is becoming that answer. It has one of the lowest living costs in the entire country and property taxes that remain mild and stable, at around 0.6%, plus major exemptions for seniors and disabled homeowners, especially full school tax exemptions. Retirees often see tax bills that finally feel manageable again. Housing is extremely affordable, $140,000 to $200,000 in many towns. Healthcare continues to improve in cities like Jackson, Tupelo, and Hattiesburg. Mississippi has challenges. Some areas have limited services. Summers are very humid, and economic conditions vary. But for seniors who want peace, simplicity, and affordability, Mississippi offers something very rare: breathing room. Number 8. South Carolina. South Carolina is one of those states that doesn't brag but quietly offers retirees a major advantage: a primary home completely exempt from school property taxes, often the biggest portion of a homeowner's bill. For seniors on fixed income, this is huge. Cost of living is moderate, and homes in places like Greenville, Spartanburg, and Florence often fall between $220,000 and $300,000. Healthcare is expanding. Winters are mild, and communities are growing. Yes, summers are humid, and coastal insurance costs can climb. But for retirees wanting affordability without leaving the East Coast, South Carolina strikes a rare balance. Number 9. Kentucky. Kentucky rarely makes headlines, but it offers some of the most meaningful benefits for retirees who want financial stability again. At age 65, homeowners get a strong homestead exemption that reduces property taxes significantly. The state's average property tax rate, around 0.83%, is far lower than coastal states. Homes in places like Bowling Green and Lexington suburbs often range from $180,000 to $250,000. Healthcare is reliable in cities like Louisville and Lexington. Yes, rural areas can feel sparse, and winter ice can be a hassle. But for retirees wanting comfort and stability without massive costs, Kentucky delivers exactly that. Number 10. West Virginia. West Virginia doesn't try to impress anyone. Instead, it offers something powerful: relief. In a country where costs rise constantly, West Virginia feels like a pause button. One major change: starting in 2026, the state will eliminate taxes on Social Security income. Property taxes are already low, usually around 0.5%. to 0.8%, and many counties offer additional exemptions to seniors. Housing is among the most affordable in the nation, $120,000 to $180,000 in many towns. With friendly communities and stunning landscapes, retirees begin to feel something they haven't felt in years: possibility. In a country where living costs tighten every year, knowing there are places where seniors can keep their homes and live peacefully is more than information, it's hope. These 10 states aren't perfect, but they offer choices. If you're looking for a fresh start, a calmer life, and the dignity you deserve as you age, these states may be the path forward. And if you found this information helpful, be sure to like this video and subscribe to TaxHack Pro so you never miss important updates that could benefit you. Thank you for watching until the end. Feel free to explore the other helpful videos now appearing on your screen.